Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello all, welcome to Group 5 Narratalogy Class B. First of all, I will introduce our member. My name Rafli Kurniawan, then my friend Vina Septika Aminda, Abel Firoosh Albasith, and Mokhtar Arifin. Today, we're gonna present our work with the title Example of Story Analysis with Narratalogy Approach, Case of Roman Short Story Genre, 3.1 Story Level. Let's move to the mind map. This mind map is about the presentation.
Number 3. Example of story analysis with narratology approach. Case of Roman short story genre. Number 3.1. Story level. There are two important aspects that need to be underlined if we are to understand structuralism in narratology through the concept of structure. Abstract shape consisting of number of components that are related one another to form that structure. First, what is important in the structure is the abstraction of or model, not object or material. From this point of view, structuralism is closer to a something of idealism than to realism. Second is the concept of structure presupposes the existence of relationship between components that make it up, which is also called the difference. In contrast to the assumption of positivism, which tends to prioritize strict causality as the basis for any relationship between natural and social elements, structuralism emphasizes more meaningful or symbolic relation, and this opens the way for the social, science, and humanities to come out from the domination of the positivistic paradigm of the natural science. In narratology, the concept of structure as an abstraction and symbolic relation is then to reduce to the concept of narrativity and level of narrative. The object of study in narratology is not actually a short story, or a novel or a particular story, but a general rule of the story of a story system. Narrativity is the ultimate goal of narratology. In describing narrativity, the early narratologists still based themselves on the synthetic model of structuralism. Therefore, their study still emphasizes on one level, namely the story. First of all, in the level of story, the question is how to determine the smallest element of the story and build the rules of combination and permutation. Therefore, the early narratologists then proposed functional concepts to answer this problem, such as function, narrative sentence, cardinal function, catalyzer, and separate of action. It is in the context of the search for storytelling at the historical level that narrativity is initially understood.
Next, in this slide is have 3 points. First is narratologists view chronological order as merely a convention about time because basically time also moves simultaneously and is multi-direction. Because of this, they create an important dichotomy that is distinctively structural, namely story time and text time. Second point is another aspect that is also important at the level of the story text is characterization. In general, in general, narratologists do not see characters or story characters as individuals. Basically, the characters in the story are all the ins and outs of the text exposure. And the last, at the third level, this is narration. Narratologists began to consider a more pragmatic theory in linguistics, Analyzing the story from this level means trying to see that the events and characters in the story are not automatically present there, but are told by the narrator to the narrator.
Hello guys, so I'm going to tell you about the analysis of the short story Teman Terbaik, page 63 until 65. In the table, in the number 1, it's about the early state balance, as mentioned in the sequence, which is Faika served to a mysterious male customer who fell in love at first sight. Faika condition in the dialogue, sungguh, tingkah lakuku benar-benar seperti remaja yang sedang jatuh cinta. Aku jadi salah tingkah sendiri karenanya. Is the main event and the first step in the growth of the seeds of love in Faika in subsequent events. This is an early state balance. Next, it's about the change of early state balance, which is mentioned in the sequence. The man asked Faika to meet him and told her his identity, who turned out to be Devin. Faika served this mysterious customer so well and attentively that in the end, the man invited Faika to meet him while telling his identity. This was a change from previously shaking Faika's feeling to relief and enjoy. Next, the new state balance, as mentioned in the event, they are much talk and joke whenever Devin came to the book cafe. Their introduction at the cafe last time gave birth to side events that occurred continuously, like in the sentence. Semenjak malam itu, kami berteman dan banyak berbincang tiap kali ia datang ke book cafe ini. Senang rasanya tidak menyebutnya sebagai perhiasan lagi. This can be referred to as the new state balance. The last is the change of the side of the new state balance, which is mentioned. Davin gave his sketchbook to Faika. In return for Faika and Davin's friendship, which is getting closer and closer, Davin also gives Faika his sketchbook, which is a rough sketch. This incident is a side event that is classified as a change from new state balance.
And the next is the analysis of Teman Terbaik, page 66 up to 68. First, Faika is trying to get closer to Davin, but she doubted whether Davin would reciprocate her feelings. In the scene, aku merasa tatapan itu berbeda. Entah apa yang membuatnya berbeda, tapi aku merasakannya. Bolehkah aku berharap? It is a part of main events and early state balance as well, because Faika is trying to get closer to Davin, but she doubted. So with this, she started the first step and then continued with other actions. The next main event, when Davin invited Faika to come to the exhibition of his paintings. Davin's action when he asked Faika made the girl look forward to Davin. With this, it can be determined as the changes. After that, in the scene where Faika called her best friend, Alfian, to recount the moment she had with Davin as a side event for supporting the previous main event. Then, on this occasion, Faika became more courageous to put more hope in Davin, so that it can be defined as the new state balance. And lastly, in the following scene, after hearing Faika's story, Alfian asked to accompany Faika when she met Davin soon. This is the side event to support previous events and also part of the changes. Because of Faika's decision, she brought Alfian to participate in monitoring her.
That's all from our presentation. We're so sorry if we have any mistake. Thanks for watching and your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.